Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream today. We're changing up a little bit. This should be a lot of fun. Looks like the audio is good on my end. Appreciate everybody being here today. Good to see everybody. We got Max AB, Sarah in the house. Max AB producer doing her thing. I got energy drinks on ice, so I am good to go. Good to see everybody here. We got Anita Bodenheimer in the house. That is my mom. Mom, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. This should be fun. This should be a good time. Sarah, producer, is texting me that everything, let's see, I'm going to throw it in the chat. There we go. Okay, looks like Wakis says good audio. Nita Bodenheimer is here. Okay, cool. Max AB producer can see me now, so that's good. That is very good. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and move to X and just get a little overview on what's going on. We got Loki, Para, Daniel. Good to see everybody in the house today. We're changing it up a little bit of Artemis mission today. So let's. So I'm sharing my screen with you guys. Let me know when you can see the screen share. All right, cool. All right, cool. Looks like the screen share is good. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's going on. So here we go.
In space. Today, our curiosity stretches farther than ever. Americans search ancient rivers on Mars. New telescopes unfold to glimpse the first stars. And a new
very cool.
Prepares to return to
1.1 million people watching on X. That's pretty sweet.
For 250 years, America has carried the
okay,
light
cool.
of
Max
humanity
says we're
forward.
good.
But American exceptionalism isn't inherited. It's earned.
Nice little
Our
workout in
greatness
space.
Comes not only from what we've done, but what we're still determined to discover. Because in every era, across every horizon, America is at its best when it's reaching for something greater.
Absolutely.
America celebrates 250 years, and we are leading the world into the future.
Nice. That's super cool. I love that they're teaming it up with America 250.
22 minutes, 15 seconds and counting from Artemis II, NASA's boldest test flight in a generation. The crew has said this often, that they hope it inspires children around the world. And recently, a group of kids here at Kennedy Space Center got a surprise of a lifetime while watching that rocket roll to the launch pad.
Awesome.
So tell me what color it is.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do a quick overview of the situation and the actual rocket itself. So Artemis II, basically just an overall summary for everybody here. Anita Bodenheimer is here, Jamie Poe. Steven's not holding anything back today. Jamie's here. Good deal. Everybody looks like they can hear me, so that's good. No sound, huh? Okay. Well, let's see what Max AB producer says. Let's see. All right, cool. Yeah, Mom, I think you need to refresh. You guys' Wi-Fi might be struggling. So go ahead and refresh. I'm showing everything good on my end. Cool. Max AB producer says we're good, so I'm going to roll. Artemis II, NASA's first crewed deep space mission since Apollo 17, since 1972. Pretty wild. Finally happening again. And yeah, I wish I was on it. Anybody else? The inaugural crewed flight of the Space Launch System, also called the HLS, for all you acronym lovers out there. That'll be the SLS rocket and the Orion spacecraft. And the launch is targeted for no earlier than 1824. So there's a 2-hour window. As you guys can see the countdown right here. I'm glad we're all here together for this to actually go to zero. It's not necessarily going to launch the rocket right at the time where we get to zero. But yes, this thing is huge. Yeah, Smedley, as you are saying, it is a definite huge moment to go back and do something that hasn't been done for so many years. So they're launching from Kennedy Space Center, the Launch Complex 39B, but there's also some backup opportunities through April 6th and 30th. So if for some reason the window doesn't look exactly dialed in and correct, then they're likely going to step this thing back. And that's just how the operations go. And nobody freak out. This is an energy drink on ice, okay? Keeping the energy drinks flowing right now. It's been a long couple weeks, but I wouldn't have it any other way than being here with you guys and hanging out. How's everybody else doing out there? Let me know in the chat, and let Max AB producer know how you're doing as well. So quick, just continuous with the overview here. And I will be popping back to the actual stream from NASA itself. So I'm actually going to pop to that right now. You guys let me know if you can actually hear them. So I want to make sure
of that launch window. So we could be launching here in about 19 minutes, Nicole.
Wow. I don't know if I expected this today. I'm excited. I'm glad they were able to clear the problem with the battery on the LAS, and everything has gone really smoothly today. It's been great. The weather cleared up.
Audio as well.
It's a beautiful day for a launch.
And so now, as we are so close to possibly launch now,
this is a NASA
just what are your
rocket.
final
I don't
thoughts
think this one's tied
as
to
we are
SpaceX
about to
at all.
embark on a mission back to the moon, the first time in more than 50 years.
Okay, awesome. And then Max AB producer, let me know if the volume level is good, because I can turn up NASA or turn down
here
NASA.
On the ground that made this
I want to be able to
happen.
talk over them. Obviously,
they are carrying the torch from the Apollo era into the Artemis era.
Be able to chime in and comment on this.
And it's the crew likes to say they want to be the shoulders
of
the next generation.
Actually, it is
can you help us with that, please?
Let's see. SLS, so that's the rocket Space Launch System, and it's an Orion spacecraft.
They want to be
on this thing.
The crew wants to be the shoulders that the next generation can climb on.
001.
Okay, well, I'll see if I can turn NASA down. Let me see if I can.
I think it's in their patch. We're going for all. It's in the name of their capsule: integrity, representing humility, and the professionalism.
All right, I just turned them down on my end,
today.
but it might just be one
proud
level
of them.
that
We
they
love
transmit
them. We're
to you
excited
guys.
for them, and we cannot wait to see what they see.
Just leveraging everything we've learned so far
you guys
as
tell
an
me if it's a little
agency,
bit much.
taking us from Apollo now to the
This is
launch
a
pad
manned,
here, 39B,
manned launch. So
with Orion and SLS poised
overall,
to again fly
you're
us
going to be
into the history
traveling more
books.
than 685,000
and
miles.
before we leave you now here at the host desk to get back into operations, we just wanted to answer one question for you guys. We asked you earlier on today, what are you most excited for? And we asked you to go vote on Instagram and Twitch. Instagram, you guys said launch. Twitch, you guys said lunar flyby. So I think you guys will all be very excited, since we are now about 17 minutes from the opening of our launch window today.
17 minutes away. I'm going to pause NASA for a second and just keep giving you guys a little brief here. So 4-astronaut crew is who's going to be conducting this 10-day. It's a free return. So they're not landing on the moon. It's a lunar flyby. But this is big because they're going through a radiation belt, which a lot of people have said is impossible to get through. So I think the conspiracy theorists who think we haven't gone to the moon before are loving this, because they're like, wait, we went to the moon before and this time it's just a flyby. But, assessing, getting back in the swing of things, I'm sure that's a big part of this. I mean, doing this once and then going on to do it, just decades later is like, okay, is anybody still around that can kind of tell us what they learned, what that, I think it's the Van Allen radiation belt, what that's like. So yeah, I even see in the chat, space travel is fake. The conspiracy theorists are going to just go nuts with this. But hey, some conspiracies have been proven to be true. So no judgment here if you're buying into some of those, but I just say do your research for sure. 4,700 miles beyond the lunar far side before gravity-assisted return. So looks like they're going to go past. So some of the distances here, 1.1 million kilometers is how much they're going to travel. That's 685,000 miles, reaching 4,700 miles. That's 7,600 kilometers beyond the lunar far side before gravity-assisted return. So unfortunately, or fortunately, it's a good test. No lunar landing will occur on this mission. So a lot of you have been asking, will there be a lunar landing? No, Buzz Aldrin, you're safe. Your record is safe, my friend. Don't worry. But the big thing here is rigorously testing the crewed SLS Orion performance in the deep space environment. I mean, think about just aviation in general, how complex aviation is. And then you team up the deep space environment. I mean, you've really got a wild scenario up there in space where it's not like you can just call for backup. You know what I mean? Like even with fighter aviation, with fighter jets, you can be up there, you have an airborne maintenance issue. Hey, no problem. We got a spare sitting reserve. And that's a lot of times what actually happens in combat. And Anna Kelly, it is exciting. I see Anna getting so excited right now. This is very exciting. This is massive. This is humanity level pride. Obviously it's the US leading the charge. There's a Canadian in the actual launch as well, Canadian astronaut. But this is worldwide pride for humanity, and especially for the United States on the 250th anniversary of our country to be doing something as epic as this. This is exciting, and it should motivate you and get you excited. I'm excited. That's why I changed up the live stream today. We were going to do an Iran live stream, but don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow with that Iran live stream. Today, I want to focus on humanity moving forward, taking this to the next level, which is just awesome. So again, beyond the lunar far side of the moon before a gravity-assisted return. No lunar landing occurring on this one. The mission is going to rigorously test those systems because when you're in deep space, you don't have the backup. You can't just call in the lefty. Hey, bring in the lefty. The lefty is 1.1 million kilometers away. So you have to test these systems, especially if we're going to deep space. Now, when it came to the landing before, so 1972, the deep space missions taking place. So we obviously have Buzz Aldrin. And when it comes to Buzz Aldrin, the big thing there is walking on the moon was almost not accomplished. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So Neil Armstrong, I believe Neil Armstrong was the one who was flying the actual lunar lander. And here's the story that I've heard from a very well-trusted source. Okay, so they're coming in to land the lunar lander. Oh, and by the way, Max AB producer, make sure you send me a text like a minute before the launch window closes so that if I'm on a big soapbox that I'll kind of step back and make sure we watch. But again, I don't think it's going to light off. That's just when the launch window opens, which is just fun for us to watch. 16 minutes and counting. Actually, let me make sure here. It looks like the feed kind of stopped on the NASA
And so
side.
with that, as we approach.
So there we go. 10 minutes. Yeah, we're at the 10-minute mark for NASA. So see, NASA's buffering too. It's not just the Max Afterburner channel that buffers. NASA's buffering also. But here's what I actually heard. So Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. So as they're coming in with the lunar lander, what I actually heard was they didn't land in the place they had predicted to land at because it was really rough. It was a lot rougher than what they thought it was.
Yeah, us taking a look at the data right here, looks like that was a single sample.
Let me go ahead and turn off their audio for now. So what I realized was they're coming in. This was a story told to me by a very close source. They're coming in the lunar lander, and they only have a certain amount of propulsion in that thing, right? So the lunar landers only got the ability to move for a certain amount of time. And then if you still want to have the fuel to be able to blast off and get off the moon, you have to land prior to anything that would keep you from having to use more of the actual propulsion, more of the actual rocket fuel that was in that lunar lander. So as they're coming in, they actually flew past their actual proposed landing site. And this story is just to kind of tell you guys how unpredictable things can be in space. I mean, all bets are off, right? You're 1 million kilometers out there and you got to just make it happen and be an athlete. So I think it was Neil Armstrong that was flying it. So here he is, he's flying along, goes past the site he's supposed to land at. And then he looks at his gauge of how much actual rocket propulsion he has. And he sees that he has roughly 10 extra seconds before, if he goes past that level, they might not be able to make it back off the moon. So he overflies, he picks a landing site through a little window on the side. There isn't like big windows on this thing. There was a little window on the side. And he sees a new landing site and he says, okay, I'm going to set it down here. And he gets to the landing site and he touches down with about 5 seconds left of propulsion. If he would have flown for 5 more seconds over the site, they wouldn't have been able to leave the moon. And it's not like someone could come get them. So that's how high the stakes are. And again, then they just step off and they say, one small step for man. You know, it's like, oh, these guys have nerves of solid steel when it comes to astronauts. So This is all awesome just to see that, the fact of the steely-eyed astronauts that are going to make this happen. This is next level stuff. It's really cool to see this taking place. The 4 astronaut crew, they'll be conducting a 10-day free return lunar flyby. So it's a 10-day mission. Don't worry, we're not going to stream for 10 days. The stream will not be able to go for the full 10 days, but that'd be pretty epic. I'll just put a cot back here and stream with you guys. But when you think about what happens in deep space, a lot of it is completely unknown. And so doing this test, doing this lunar flyby by the far side of the moon before the gravity-assisted return, this will test rigorously the SLS Orion performance in the deep space environment, including things like life support systems. I mean, you have to test out all the life support systems. That's kind of the big day. That's kind of the big thing. Yeah, someone's voting for the 10-day stream. Okay, let's do a super chat. I'm not going to say a 10-day stream on the super chat, but here's what I am going to say. We'll do a 15 super chat goal. If we get this goal completed, we'll try to get Sarah on the actual mission that lands on the moon. So the actual goal will be get Max AB producer Sarah on the moon mission. We'll get her there. Yeah, if we achieve this super chat goal, and again, the super chat, if you guys throw a super chat in, then I will answer and respond to whatever question you have. Can really be about anything, but I prefer for it to be about the moon, just because, we'll do other live streams and other things. But I will answer anything you got if you throw in the super chat. And then we'll get Sarah to the moon. The biggest thing is to get Sarah to the moon. And Max AB producer says, I like my sleep too much for a 10-day stream. Well, basically half of the stream would be me sleeping. So I think this could actually work out. Life support system. So that's something that I really want to harp on here, because as you think about being in this module, they're up here inside this thing. They're inside this thing for not this office. They're in this office for 10 days. Oh no, they're in the actual spacecraft itself for 10 days. So you have to think about how to keep life supported during that time. You got to keep moving your body, got to keep life supported. Why did it looks like the Artemis launch, it stopped at 10 minutes. So I'm wondering why it stopped at 10 minutes. Let's pop to NASA real quick.
Victor, we are going for our families. MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
Nice.
Your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
Wow. Full send, baby.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
Nice. Wow. It's going to happen. They paused the launch sequence at 10 minutes.
And into the launch director.
Go ahead, launch director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Nice.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR, NTD.
Go.
Gear risers and initiate short purge per your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
Lots of big brains working on this right
8,
now.
9,
It's awesome.
Copy. CVSE NTD, start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
I love the full send comment.
Well, there you heard it.
RSR NTD.
RSR.
They're getting ready to start terminal count.
arm rotation enable at this time.
Nice.
Please.
Terminal count. Start that 10-minute countdown.
10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely praying for the safety. Absolutely.
This last bit of work.
arm rotation
Remember, they've been training for this for
start that clock.
a long time. I'll see if I can find an exact amount of time, but years.
Close and lock visors.
Awesome. I'm glad we caught that little speech. I mean, it's so cool hearing just the excitement. Imagine being an astronaut sitting in this thing right now. We'll get to how fast they're going to go here in a second.
You heard an issue, worked in real time with telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock, This was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion.
Nice. Okay, so they're working on some sort of issue real time. Again, they're not even in space yet, and they're already working issues. So when it when it comes to space operations, I mean, anything up in the air, any type of aviation related issues, you got to work out the bugs, and they're doing that real time. Like, you can't expect everything to go perfect, right? You have to be willing to work on things, and that's why a lot of these astronauts are engineers, they're problem solvers, and that's what every aviator is. But a lot of these astronauts are like test pilot types. They're ready to work any of the high level math equations. A lot of the different things come down to engineering solutions, right? Like Elon Musk has said, every problem has an engineering solution. That's the mindset you have to have as an aviator, and you got to kind of take that to the next level when you're sitting in this capsule, knowing that you're going to be up there for 10 days, right? You got to solve the problems. I mean, I hope they like each other, because at this point they're stuck with each other for 10 days. So imagine if I had to put Max AB producer stuck with me for 10 days. I don't know. That might be just as challenging as the space launch. LP4544, thank you for the super thanks. Really appreciate that. Looks like we had another one come in. Let's see if there's a question. Hey, Ryan, and big thing for people to know why we haven't gone back to the moon in so long. Digital technology, computers are so sensitive to solar radiation. Huge holdback for us, and no more analog. Wow, that's actually a really good point. I mean, the Van Ryan, is it the Van Ryan or the Van Allen radiation belt? Max AB producer, can you look that up? What the radiation belt is that has kept the humans, kept us humans. I'm not an alien, I promise. I'm like, has kept those humans. I blew my cover. Has kept us from going to the moon. That's a really good point, Tidro. So when you think about the radiation and the effects that that's going to have on the avionics, the computers, that's one big benefit to the different, vacuum tubes, those big, like you have like one wire. So literally, like, what do I have around here? Okay, so I got like a little power wire. So this probably does the job of the same job that a vacuum tube this big did, but that vacuum tube, it wasn't susceptible to the types of radiation that these new electronics are susceptible to. So that's a really good, interesting point. I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you for that. That's awesome. That is a problem that hopefully has been solved and is now being focused on. We're still at the T-10 launch sequence. And then let's just pop back to NASA. See what we'll catch up real quick. I'll do this every couple of minutes here.
And CGLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
Oh, nice. They're going to resume the clock.
GLS
Let's go.
Copies.
Van Allen radiation belt.
3,
Thank you, Max AB producer.
2, 1, mark. GLS mainline has been initiated.
Oh, 26
T-minus
minutes.
10 minutes and counting.
Okay, 26 minutes and counting. TLS mainline.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0
Nice.
is 6:35 p.m.
Wow.
Eastern time.
Let's go.
6:35 p.m. Eastern
This
time.
thing's going to blast,
We are now
guys. This
counting
is
down
so awesome.
to liftoff of Artemis II.
Artemis II, baby. Big things. Well, we got the 10-minute
From
clock.
now
Okay,
on,
it
you're going to
popped
hear
to 20,
two
but
voices on the loops.
looks like
If
we're at
everything
10.
goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spalding, who's directly managing the launch team, and Alex
Awesome.
Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software. He has the ability to stop and restart the countdown.
Nice. Yeah, you got to have somebody who can be like, hey, pause, let me figure this out, let me figure that out. And a lot of it is not being under pressure. Something that I think about too a lot as an aviator, and you think about it as an astronaut as well, is you can't be pressured into a bad situation if the conditions aren't ideal. But then you also can't be so timid that you don't take a few risks, right? You have to be able to thread the needle into that sweet spot. So there's a lot of times as an aviator where we'd have weather days, right? And we were going out to the range and we needed to practice and prepare and get ready for combat. And so you had to go some days that maybe the conditions weren't ideal, but then there were other days where the range was socked in. Let's say, the weather was at 400 feet, rolling clouds somewhere along the coast in North Carolina. And, it looked like, oh, we might be able to get a mission in, but then, the range was reporting, 400-foot ceilings. It was like, all right, well, this one's pretty obvious. But if it was 1,000-foot ceilings, well, okay, cool. Well, what else can we do? Straight and level passes. At least we're doing something. So that's the kind of the equation that you're solving all the time. And there's weather officers, weather operators. NASA has big, like not just Earth weather, but space weather, solar flares. What's the solar flare like right now? How is that going to affect this whole thing? And this window is probably oriented, not probably, it is oriented around all of that. Nice. They're removing the bridge. Oh, that's epic. That is so cool.
That's the path that the astronauts took to ingress into the rocket.
It's game time, baby. Yeah. That is a jetway of jetways.
Until this point, that was their way off the pad if they needed to evacuate. But now with that arm retracting, the backup transitions to a launch abort system.
Nice.
And they'll begin arming that shortly.
Wow. Yeah, if they can probably see that on a screen, they can kind of see that going
the launch
away.
Abort system,
and that's when probably your heart starts thumping. You're like, all right,
retracting
this
away.
is going to happen. Because a lot of
the
it's
launch
a big
abort
buildup.
system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight.
Nice. You can see the secondary rockets on the side.
That protects the lives.
Grok says that they'll travel so fast through the belt, the radiation levels are minimal, similar to a CT scan. Oh, that's awesome. They're going so fast. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I know we tried to blow up the radiation belt with nuclear 6
minutes. The GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization.
Yeah, I'm excited too. The Say Rockim is excited. I'm excited, guys. This is super cool. Remember, if we get enough super thanks, we're going to try to get Sarah on the moon mission. We got to blast her off to the moon. I feel like she could still. She's such like a dedicated person to Max Afterburner that she would still be moderating.
Whether it's 90% go,
she'd be sitting in the rocket, just like, "What's up, everybody?
All systems
I'm here for the Max Afterburner team." She's awesome. What a great moderator. Tidro, don't be sorry. You're giving us super thanks, man. That's really appreciated.
Pressurization.
All right, let me go ahead and take
that means the replenish valve for the liquid hydrogen tank has now closed, and that tank is beginning to pressurize to flight levels.
Nice. They're pressurizing that tank to flight levels. Sorry to comment again, Tidro. Don't be sorry. Send a super thanks. That's appreciated. That keeps Sarah. Hopefully, we'll get Sarah to the moon one day, and definitely keeps her from driving Uber tonight after we're done with the stream. So thank you for that. But regardless of Van Allen belts, solar radiation would extend far beyond those. It even affects computers on Earth to an extent. Van Allen belts can be mostly evaded. Awesome. Tidro hitting us with the knowledge. Thank you so much. Alan Vigil says, thank you for all you do and cover. You're welcome, my friend. It's so cool to have everybody here. We got 1,500 of us here live watching this launch. 5 minutes and counting. It's going to be awesome. Good to see everybody here. We got Grim and a whole bunch of the team here. Up for any video you and Sarah do. Awesome, Tonio. Appreciate that, my friend. Yep. And people have asked for a Sarah cam, but what we might do is have her moderate once, it makes sense. Have her moderate, have a computer here, and then we can kind of get her take on some things as well. Very talented person. Having Sarah on the team is huge. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying chatting with her. That is awesome to see. But again, strategic significance. So what this is going to do is validate systems for Artemis II. That's the one we're going to try to get Sarah on. That is scheduled for a 2028 lunar landing, and it establishes U.S. leadership in sustained lunar presence. I wouldn't be surprised as a part of that if there's actually a base that is put on, I was going to say Mars, but a sustained lunar presence en route to Mars. So if there's the ability to create that base, you get SpaceX up there, other people creating that base, and then you have the ability to have more of a launch point for Mars. So just something to help for Mars. Did you ask us to moon Sarah? Fatty D McButterpants. Hey man, you could do whatever you want because I don't think we can see your camera right now. So if that makes you happy and you're giving super thanks, all I ask is if you do moon your camera, just send us super thanks and tell us whatever you're up to. But that's funny. So this will validate systems for Artemis III. That's the 2028 lunar landing. And again, giving us, a little bit of a launch pad for Mars. I believe SpaceX will be heavily involved in the actual base itself. Max AV producer is going to be berating me now. She basically told me to keep everything together and keep in line. But you guys know sometimes I go off the script. Another thing this will do is demonstrate international partnerships and bring international partnerships to the moon to hopefully help get more of that Mars focus going. So That's one of the big things. Success probability is high because there was an Artemis I in 2022, and there was extensive ground testing. Mission duration and trajectory, those are going to provide built-in abort options if something is going wrong just prior to this launch. So that helps with crew safety margins. Splashdown is planned in the Pacific Ocean off of the coast of San Diego in 10 days. So 10-day mission. They'll be back with that splashdown. You can see the rockets are spooling up now. I want to see if I can get you guys some information on the propulsion. The overall length of this thing is 322 feet. Max thrust is 8.8 million pounds of thrust. The launch thrust is 8.27 million pounds of thrust. Payload to translunar injection is about 59,525 pounds. The core stage of this is made by Boeing. Boeing is doing some good work. Height is 212 feet. Diameter is 27 feet. The propellant is 2.2 million pounds of liquid oxygen LH rocket fuel. And the burn time is approximately 480 seconds. So we'll see exactly how that goes down. When we get to within a minute, I'm going to go ahead and just listen to NASA. So we'll go back to them in a second. RS-25 core engines. Those are 4. It says there's 4 of them. They're built by L3 Harris, and it's from the Heritage Shuttle adoption. Obviously, some adaptations made to that. Each of them are 14 feet tall, 7,750 pounds each, and they are staged combustion cycle engines. Thrust, 418,000 pounds. Sea level launch, 512,000 pounds. Max, and that's if they're at their max power setting. So you guys know I love these things being at their max power setting. Artemis II engines. Again, staggered. There should be a 6-second pre-booster ignition. Throttle profile is optimized for crewed ascent load. So you don't want to accelerate too fast, but you don't want to accelerate too slow either. So I'm going to pop back to the NASA audio. Let's listen to that for the next minute, and then I will go back to commenting on what we're seeing.
To the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after,
probably a lot of AI involved as well.
Take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
Nice, Gary. Talk to us, Gary.
Go for ALS.
30 seconds, baby. Here we go.
The rocket is on its own.
30 seconds, everybody. Get ready. Here we go.
Ready to ride the most powerful rocket.
Yes.
NASA has ever launched.
The most powerful rocket. That's a not so subtle flex. That is so epic.
Water is flowing.
All right. Put out some good juju, everybody.
Here we go.
You know, this isn't without its risks,
10,
but I
9,
truly believe.
8, 7.
Here we go.
RS-25 engines lit.
There we go.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition.
Wow.
And liftoff.
Come on,
the
baby.
Crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon.
Wow.
Humanity's next
Let's go.
Begins.
That is incredible. All right, Godspeed to those astronauts.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Wow.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Amazing. I'm literally speechless. This is incredible.
AMT high.
Just imagine that feeling of being those astronauts right now, just knowing it's game time, baby. They're doing this for humanity. This is not without its risks, guys. This takes some big cojones to do this. Incredible.
Space launch system core stage.
Yep.
Integrity 3 miles in altitude.
Core stage. So core stage is firing now. That's what we're seeing. And it's a staged combustion cycle, remember. Wow. Beautiful. That is just such a beautiful sight. Stay safe, guys and gals.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute.
Wow.
Max Q.
Passing 1 minute.
On, bountifully on.
I'm seeing a 403-second booster.
Have you the same?
Dang, this is amazing.
Communication signal transfer confirmed.
Interim cryogenic propulsion stages. So there's interim stages, modified delta cryogenic stages.
miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
2,600 miles per hour. Not a ton of G-forces because it's happening so staged, right? It starts out slow and then accelerates, so it's not a big acceleration all at once. And with the human body leaned back like that, your head isn't going first, so the blood is staying
1
in your
minute
body.
50 seconds of mission elapsed time. Standing by for
You have a
main
better
engine
chance of
throttle
not
down to
graying out. I mean,
85%,
very hard to gray
and
out in that
solid
kind of a
rocket booster
position, laying
separation
backwards like
expected at
that.
the 2 minute 9 second mark.
Stay safe.
Throttle down.
This is, once these stages start transitioning as well, interim cryogenic propulsion stages.
Main engine's throttling up, guidance converged.
Okay, there's looks like the 2 boosters fell off. Those probably don't have the auto land like Elon Musk's rockets do, but they should. Yeah, we got Canada in the house. Yep, there's a Canadian astronaut. Man, just the amount of engineering, all the work behind this. Yeah, this is the first time I've been speechless in a long time. This is just beautiful. What a just amazing
seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission.
And just the guts
and upper stage
of the
ready
astronauts.
State ahead of service module fairing separation.
It's really special.
3 minutes into the flight. Integrity 49
it's really
miles an altitude.
Groundbreaking, guys. I'm getting a little emotional because it's just a very groundbreaking moment.
Miles per hour.
Wow. I'm just proud of all the engineers too. Looks like they're safe in that initial phase.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
So
Copy, jettison. Team Eco 8+02.
We see you sail
Didn't think it was going to hit
Stan.
me like that. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty emotional
And
about
Houston
this.
has you loud and clear on Tigris at the common line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the
really
flight
cool.
of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on
guys.
internal checks to verify accuracy.
So cool.
Flight dynamics officer
Definitely
analyzed the time
getting
of
more
main engine
emotional than I
cutoff,
thought I
confirmed
would.
at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
I'm just proud of everybody involved. That is so cool. Looks like everything's operating safely.
Integrity.
Thanks for being here with me, guys. And I'm glad to be here with you. I mean, this is a really special moment for humanity.
Outstanding, Stan. We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Yeah. Yes. Godspeed. What a beautiful
Approaching
moment.
5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination.
Reed Wiseman.
GPS guidance, navigation, and control
Guys,
software finishes internal
doing
checks
great
and
work
sends to
for humans
navigation
right now.
channels.
Integrity. 3 engine press.
Man, that's so cool.
3 engine press.
On time
Imagine
now,
that view
passing
right
5
now.
minutes 20 seconds of mission
That'd be
elapsed
such
time
a
into
cool
the
view.
Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good
Yeah.
main engines are
Good
all that's
call,
needed
Leona.
to carry
Yay
Integrity
for our
to a
astronauts.
nominal
God
main
bless
engine
America.
cutoff target.
Absolutely.
Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston.
Yes, 4 good engines.
Integrity,
Heck yeah.
75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
10,000 miles per hour. That's what I'm talking about. That is so, so cool. 10,000 miles per hour. Okay. They got me. I think my top is like 1,400 miles per hour. So,
Integrity. Looking good at 6 minutes.
6 minutes in. They're like 6
Stay
minutes
on
in
board, Stan.
for 10 days. They're like, we got 10 days of this.
Good trajectory and engine
Wow.
performance. Booster officer will soon report the shutdown plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute mark.
Nice. Okay. 11,500 miles per hour now.
Miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Let's
Integrity.
go.
Expect nominal shutdown.
Nominal shutdown.
Integrity copies nominal
Oh,
shutdown.
man. So cool. These are such rare occurrences, guys. Just so special to watch this happen.
6 minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan
Adonis
is as
said
expected.
that they got emotional when
Again, the time
SpaceX
of
launched.
MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the
it's
flight.
like the coolest thing to understand what humans are capable of when we work together. And this is what humanity is all about: moving forward, exploring, understanding that nothing is impossible for us if we work together.
7 minutes of
to
mission elapsed time.
This is the good stuff, guys. This is why, people think, why are we
throttling
in Iran?
down
Why
as
do we
we
fight
approach
wars?
the abort once around option.
Well, humans should
Milestone
be focused on
at the
this
7 minute
right
30
here. We
second
should
mark.
be focused on advancement. We should
Now
be
84
focused
miles
on
in altitude, 650
exploration,
miles
on
downrange,
exploration,
traveling
really.
more than
But
15,000
unfortunately,
miles per
wars
hour.
are sometimes a part of it to get us there.
Integrity,
And this is the
open.
sweet stuff. This is the good stuff. I love it.
Gateway open.
Oh, that's
The window
so
is
cool.
now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this
Nice.
time.
This is this is game time for everybody at NASA. I mean, what an amazing, hats off to that whole team. Just so cool to see what they're doing. So special.
About
The
10
NASA
seconds
team's just
remaining until the main
gotta
engine
be
cutoff
so
of the
excited right
Space
now.
Launch System core stage.
But it's just starting, right? Their
Standing
challenge
by
is
for
just starting.
confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
Wow. So cool. So the overall stack of the Orion spacecraft, crew module, a European service module, launch abort system, jettisoned post-ascent.
Integrity, nominal MECO, core stage separated.
Nice. Core stage separation. Man, that happened pretty fast.
We see the same onboard thing.
Yeah. There it goes.
8 minutes 40 seconds. Having now main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the inner rim cryogenic propulsion stage, or ICPS,
Cryogenic
attached to the right
propulsion
spacecraft.
stage. Here we go. Wow, 114 miles up now.
9 minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth.
42,000 miles
journey
total.
to the moon.
Looks like good separation there. Core stage separation. So that is going to splash down.
Integrity Houston, connect to PRM numbers far per pad.
So Reed Wiseman, he's a test pilot and he's a veteran of the International Space Station. He's been to the International Space Station and he's the leader of the team. And then you got Victor Glover, is a pilot. That's
now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition is as expected. Prior to booster ignition.
That's the title I would want. Just the pilot astronaut.
That time being 49
what
minutes.
What are you doing up here?
50
I'm the pilot.
seconds
Don't worry
of mission
about it.
last time.
Also, Victor Glover, a veteran of the International Space Station, first African-American lunar mission astronaut. And then Christina Koch, record holder for longest single space flight by a woman. And then Jeremy Hansen, first Canadian on a lunar mission, international role. So the ESA provides the ESM, which is the European Separation Module. Let me make sure that right. European Service Module. 10 European nations plus U.S. components, underscoring Artemis Accords partnership. Canada supplies crew and future gateway contributions. Primary risks here that we've seen them mitigate extremely well.
Integrity, good NEDs deploy.
Hydrogen leaks, upper stage pressurization issues. Those, okay, the audio is coming.
Stand good, Neds.
I'm going to go ahead and let them talk for a second. Let's see if that smooths it out.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that. Stand halfway open.
All right, I'm going to turn down their audio for now. That might have been interfering, and then I'll just give you guys a quick little overview. So the international role, we talked about that. European service module. That underscores future partnerships with Europe as well, chipping in to help out. That's awesome. Good. Glad to hear that. And then the way ahead here. So Artemis II's success, and obviously it just started, right? The launch sequence, that system, I mean, 184 miles now. Wow, they're basically like 3 miles a second at this point. Wow. 241,000 total miles, miles an hour, 18,200 miles per hour. That is so cool. That is incredible. So the international role here, goal is to test these different systems. This Artemis II success, God willing, it's successful. We obviously got 10 days ahead of us, but that will greenlight the Artemis III, the crewed lunar landing, and it'll accelerate infrastructure, gateway, commercial type infrastructure that could be brought to the moon. So at this point, this is kind of the next step to set up for an actual base on the moon, which is awesome. Yeah, it's still slower than light speed. It's like, oh, 18,100 miles per hour. Oh, what? You couldn't get to light speed? There's always that person that's like, what? Oh, could only get to 18,000 miles per hour. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Like, yeah, for sure. Okay, so overall, though, what I see with this mission, a lot of testing. When it comes to testing the different systems, a lot of this is life support systems. Like I talked about before, with that different system of the lunar lander, 1970s, they had to readjust and re-pick a different landing site for the different module lander, right? So they're going to land, Neil Armstrong's going to land with I think it's 6 seconds left of actual propulsion before they had to be stuck there. So he's going to choose a different landing site, basically looking at a little window about this big by his knee. He's going to be looking at that little window, and he's going to choose a new site to land at. And then he has 6 seconds left. If he would have flown for 6 more seconds, they wouldn't have been able to leave the moon. So things like that, the margins for error are so small. So that's why we see with systems like this, it really is all about testing. And you can't have just one system. You have to have backups. So what we're likely seeing right now are massive amounts of backups to make sure that when we actually go to the moon, Neil Armstrong, the Buzz Aldrins of the next mission won't be put in a position where they have 6 seconds or they can't make it off the moon. They need to have more options in case they need to land somewhere else, in case they need to go somewhere that provides a better landing location. It'll likely be totally scoped out prior, but at the end of the day, you got to think about, okay, it's totally scoped out, but we want a little more than 6 seconds. So for those of you who weren't here for the story early on, basically as Neil Armstrong's coming in to land on the moon, he had to change his landing location. And he's like, all right, well, I can't land there. The terrain wasn't right. And so he didn't want to risk it because he thought if he tried to land there, the lunar module would tip over. And so he looks through a little hole by his knee. He's flying it. He takes over, starts flying it manually. Talk about big cojones, right? Like, I'm going to take over manually and fly this thing. So he takes over, adjusts the lunar lander and adjusts the lunar module to go to a new location, to a new spot. It touches down, landed it with 6 seconds left. I mean, just amazing, just incredible, right? Just a wild situation. Yeah, Neil Armstrong having the ability to do that, that is what's called the right stuff. That is the right stuff. So very cool that now we have the ability to test this to make sure that the next mission doesn't run into those same type of problems. So overall, when I think about what this is doing, so think about the life support systems that it takes for 10 days. 10 days in space, no backups. You got to make sure the life support systems are completely good to go. You cannot even take the risk of one of the life support systems not doing exactly what you need it to do. 17,500 miles per hour speed. I think it got up to 18,000 miles an hour. Just incredible. Propulsion systems, that'd be the next big thing. So propulsion systems, making sure the different propulsion systems are giving you the ability to get back, right? Because they're going to be using gravity. They're going to go around the moon, use gravity, and slingshot themselves back, which is just incredible. I mean, this is the type of math equations that I'm glad there's people out there that are doing these. I'll just say that. Makes me happy that there's someone with a brain that big to go ahead and take care of business like that. And then navigation. So being in charge of, okay, where are we actually going, right? Who's the one who's in charge of like, okay, well, we're going to go around this side of the moon and we're going to go to the dark side of the moon and then spin back around and shoot ourselves back. So you have to be able to go in the right trajectory, because imagine something goes wrong, you don't go through the right spot, you don't use gravity as well as you should, and now you're in a position where you might not be able to make it back. So that's why these astronauts, having the training that they have, having the ability to determine last minute decision making, to just boom, make a decision. It might not be the right decision every single time, but if you aren't able to make a decision with pressure on, that's not going to be good. That will not be a good day. Let's pop back to NASA. Let's see if we can hear some of the astronauts talking. All right, I'll keep talking until I hear them start to chat.
Cross-eye referring to,
let's see.
Flight controllers here initiating a connection between some of the batteries aboard the Orion spacecraft.
Okay, connecting with the batteries. Sounds good. That's
Allowing
always
for
a good
an
thing.
even distribution of power. This is the flight control teams that took us through Ascent of the Artemis II mission today.
I wonder if as they're getting on the shuttle,
Right
if
now
they're like, do you have any lithium-ion
passing
batteries
18 minutes of
that you should
mission
be
elapsed time.
checking? That you're not allowed to check those. Take them with you.
The Orion spacecraft integrity and the interim cryogenic propulsion system are maneuvering tail to sun.
Tail to sun. Yeah, keep the sun out of the eyes of the astronauts.
This attitude.
That'd be good.
Momentary prop caution.
Don't want these astronauts getting blinded by the sun. That would not be a good day. Because imagine.
And read no action. We're looking at it.
There is no atmosphere to protect you from the sun, from the radiation. But that's good that we heard from one of the members here who told us that you're going through the Van Allen radiation belt so fast that it doesn't cause a ton of issues.
Routed to his displays aboard integrity. Propulsion engineer
I wish we had an
confirming that no
inside
action
view.
is needed at this time. They're pressing through with their nominal procedures to prepare for the perigee raise maneuver. And of course, the solar array wing deploy.
The solar array wing deploy. How epic is that?
The solar wing deploy is a critical milestone. We'll continue to have our coverage follow the mission until that deployment. Successful launch is just the beginning. The deployment of the solar arrays and successful confirmation that those solar array wings are drawing
Can't wait to see those
power
wings pop out.
is a significant milestone, and says to the flight control teams that we will continue on today's mission. Power needs to be drawn to continue through some of the next milestones.
The next
Until then,
milestone,
the
specifically the
AOA
solar
open
array
option
wings.
that was called up upon ascent, the aboard once around, is the current option, and the board to orbit option ATO will be switched to a preferred mode at the time that the solar array wings are deployed and latched. It gives the flight control teams a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, Integrity Houston, update on TDRS handover for your pad.
Wonder how they're going to work
give us
out
just
and move.
1
I'm
minute.
assuming that's a pretty big system, but
And
let's see if
Stan,
we
you
can
can
find
read
more
it like it's
information on
ready to
that.
copy.
Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
Yeah, I'm assuming they have ability to move around, but I don't think it's as big as the, any parts of the, obviously it's not as big as the whole International Space Station, but I wonder if there's aspects of it that are pretty large.
Hi,
The
Stan, we
Peregrine
copy 1
raise
second,
maneuver burn.
earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
Nice.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
That's always good. You don't want to be like, we're seeing something different.
Read back of the reports that you just heard on the Orion to Earth network. Integrity has maneuvered tail to sun.
Earth
the
to
RL-10
Orion,
nozzle on
Orion
the end
to
of the ICPS
Earth.
is pointed towards the sun. And the
This will be a
solar
whole new
array
thing. Instead
deployment
of,
sequence has begun.
Houston, we have an issue. No, this is Earth to
With
Orion.
the deployment
This thing is
confirmed,
working like a
it'll be several
well-oiled
minutes
machine.
until they are what is called in a latched position. Once they are latched and confirmed to be drawing power, they can switch the mode to ATO and continue along the mission.
All right, we got another super thing
The
coming in. I was
teacher's
4
handover
years
at the
old when
pad,
Apollo
that
8
message
launched. We're
meant,
back, baby. Yeah, we are.
The crew was
Fatty D
provided
McButterpants. You are correct, sir.
The crew
we
was
are
provided
back.
some preliminary numbers of when to expect
Guess who's
handovers
back?
between the tracking and data relay
Back
satellites.
again. Orion's back.
Currently
Tell a
orbiting
friend.
Earth at an
Anybody?
altitude
Anybody know
of
who that is?
545
That's a throwback.
statute miles
All right.
above the Earth. They are in a near-Earth network
Life on board the
communication
Orion.
system. The tracking and data relay
Basic,
satellites,
but functional.
geosynchronous satellites.
So
that are
the way that I
stationed
think of it is like
23,000 miles
glamping
above
in
the Earth.
space. So you're up there glamping, basically.
After the apogee rays burn that occurs later today,
solar array wings came out. It looks
the
like
burn itself will put them in an altitude that
but it doesn't look.
surpasses the range
solar wings
of
are
the
smaller than
tracking
I
and
think
data
everybody
relay
thought. They're not going to
satellites,
look like a
and
satellite.
they will
ring,
transition to the
basically.
deep space network today.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line.
Nice.
It's a momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed.
Oh, okay. So you can't hear me and them at the same time. So I just turned their volume off for a second so I can cover some things. You guys make sure you can hear me. I don't think you can hear what they're saying now. So when I think of what life is like on this thing, I think glamping, they're not like, you know, completely roughing it. So glamping type situations with very strict schedules. You have to keep these very strict schedules, okay? So it's very cramped, and that's why the schedules make a lot of sense, because you have to rotate through. You have to make sure that you're not off the schedule and then someone else is trying to use a system while you're trying to use it. The space is very cramped, so they'll stow 2 seats after the launch to create more room. They float in microgravity, and they have to be careful not to bump into each other or equipment. So they have different devices that keep them attached, okay? They sleep about 8.5 hours per day, usually all together at the same time. They're all getting their sleep at the same time. That's the goal. Stay on the same schedule. They use sleeping bags that are attached to the walls. On launch day, sleep is split into 2 shorter periods because of important engine burns and things they have to be awake for. All right. Yeah, I'd be peeing a lot as well. We got a comment that someone would be peeing all the time. Yeah. Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. Right. You got to be cool as a cucumber. 3 meals are served per day. They're eaten together in about 60 minutes. Food comes in pouches. Some are rehydrated with water from a dispenser. Others are heated on a small hot plate like a tiny little oven. Examples include beef brisket. Delicious. These beef brisket does sound pretty amazing. I'm getting pretty hungry as we speak right now. Fajitas, vegetable quiche. They didn't go bottom shelf. They went with a nice setup for their food. I appreciate that. I don't like to be tired and hungry at the same time. I don't really mind being one or the other, you know, because in the military, obviously you have to be one or the other. But if you're tired and hungry, that's when things get wild. And you're in a capsule for 10 days together. Yeah, things could get weird. So it looks like they're feeding them well. Not only do they have vegetable quiche, they have mango salads, cookies, and cobblers, which sounds delicious. Most meals are at room temperature due to limited heating space, and there's no fresh food up there. So, yeah, hopefully they have some fiber, and we'll just leave it at that. And that's from MREs, Meals Ready to Eat. They definitely back you up a little bit. I'll just leave it at that. There'll probably be some good comments coming from that. They exercise about 30 minutes per person daily on a small flywheel device. It's like a rowing machine or resistance bands for squats and deadlifts. This helps prevent muscle and bone loss. Workouts also test the spacecraft's air and life support systems because, again, the demand on the air systems and the space systems are going to be much more when this actually goes to the moon. All right, I should be back. Okay, just some quick chats here before we get going. I'll share. Let's see where they're at in the actual sequence here.
26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting.
26 minutes in. 16,000 miles per hour. 238,000 miles. Wow. Interesting. So I'll leave it up. We'll see if we can hear anything else coming from them. But There's a toilet that's installed on day 1. We talked about that. There is no showers or laundry. They use, black screen. Okay. All right, I just popped in and popped back out, so you should be able to hear me now. No showers or laundry. So hopefully they have some dude wipes. Basically, dude wipes is the way to go here. Radiation protection. They practice shelter drills by moving behind water tanks and the heat shield in case of a solar storm. So if there's a solar storm, they have to hide. Just a wild scenario on what could happen. Can you guys see me now? So let me make sure you guys can actually see the chat. How's the chat? How's the stream? Look and sound. Okay. Max AB producer says we're good. Checking in with everybody else as well.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission.
Yes, we are.
At
Radiation
this point,
protection.
we've had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds.
Seth Goldberg.
p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, my friend. You're so kind for the super thanks.
We've had
I've got
good,
a number 1
main
fan
engine
ranking
cutoff,
by
core
you.
stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun.
Nice.
We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude.
So
this is
cool.
where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver.
Very cool. The perigee raise maneuver. So I'll go ahead and pause their audio, but we'll keep their video going. Seth Goldberg, thank you so much for the super thanks, my friend. We're trying to get Sarah to the moon. That's the goal. So if we can get the super thanks goal, let's see. We got 11 of 15. If we can get that goal, our goal is to get Sarah to the moon on the next Artemis 3 mission. So that's the goal. And keep her from driving Uber tonight. That would be great. But yeah, thanks so much, Seth. That's very kind of you. But I was just kind of reviewing some of the life support systems and what we have going for these astronauts right now. So 30 minutes per person per day is the exercise that they get. Dang, looks like the stream is gone again. Let's see. It's looking good on my end. So maybe it's just on certain people's end. Looks like the sound is good here, but I think Max AB producer just lost her stream. So, okay, cool. Everybody says they're hearing it and they're actually seeing. Did you ever want to be an astronaut? So Cyber Saver, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think it would have been awesome. I would love to have been an astronaut. I think that's cool. But I think my personality is honestly suited more for fighter jet aviation. And I'll tell you why. I was always the guy that loved the idea of just flying missions, combat missions, not necessarily being a teacher. Now, the people that are teachers, I respect them a lot. And I became an instructor towards the end of my time as a fighter pilot on the Thunderbirds. And that was so special. I love being an instructor for the Thunderbirds. I was a 4-ship flight lead in the F-15E. I went through the instructor program and I had to leave the F-15E prior to completing the instructor program. But honestly, that was the best situation for me. There was something about being an instructor when I was younger that I just didn't want to do. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a hair on fire guy, a couple hundred feet above the deck, 500 miles per hour. That was me. So as an astronaut, you kind of become more of an academic in a sense of aviation. You do have to have some of the stick and throttle skills for the pilot who's on board. Also, the mission commander is a pilot as well, former fighter pilot. So he's going to have the ability to fly as well. But a lot of the astronauts are focused on systems, equations, test pilot type stuff. And when it comes to test pilot type stuff, it's kind of like this. You get a packet, and the packet's like, okay, fly at 20,000 feet, 500 miles per hour, turn 15 degrees left, and hold that attitude for 30 seconds. And you have to be, it's like a script. It's like a movie script. And then it's like after 15 seconds, then transition to a right-hand bank at 45 degrees and hold that bank for 30 seconds, and then transition to a 5-degree pitch nose up attitude. And this is what the test pilots are doing every single day. And they love it. They're like, oh yeah, this is, and I get it. You know, you're figuring out how these systems work. You're figuring out how these different engines work at different attitudes. So that's important. Looks like these solar wings are opening. I wish their graphic had a little bit of a different contrasting background so we could see the actual wings themselves. That would be sweet. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Cyber Saver. And actually, there's been less Thunderbirds than there have astronauts. So it's actually more rare to be a Thunderbird pilot than it is to be an astronaut. More astronauts than Thunderbirds, believe it or not, which is just kind of a cool fact. Something that I always tell people at parties. I'm like, hey, did you know that it's more rare to be a Thunderbird? Can you imagine? That was like how I led when I met someone. I'm like, hey, what's up? My name's Ryan. They're like, oh, hey, I'm Bob. I'm like, did you know it's more rare to be a Thunderbird than an astronaut? I probably wouldn't be invited back to that party. We'll just say that. Ann Kelly says, Ryan, would you join a space mission if asked? Absolutely. You guys need a former Thunderbird pilot, F-15E combat pilot to stream the entire mission. Could you imagine? We'd probably get like millions and millions of views, not just because of me, but because it would be epic. So yeah, I would love that. Oh, Matt, the electrician member, has joined the Ready Room. Matt, thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate it. Monkeys will win. Just threw in a super thanks just to be awesome and then just dropped the mic. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. You saw a video of an F-15 chasing an Iranian drone. It didn't look right. Okay, I'll look into that as well. Because again, tomorrow we'll likely jump back into the live streams covering the Iran war. But this was a special moment for humanity. So you guys know I got to cover this as well. And I'll likely be doing more live streams on the Artemis missions, especially as it gets close to coming back in. That's something that Sarah and I we'll talk about. Good to see Alabama in the house from L1. Sun-Kissed Girl says, to the moon. We're getting Sarah to the moon. Sarah, pack your bags. Sounds like you're going to the moon. We got 11 of 15. But everybody's looking good on the super chats. Frame, thank you for that. Sending Sarah to the moon with some euros. Monkeys will win. Getting Sarah to the moon. Sarah, I think the writing's on the wall. I think you're not going to be flying Uber Eats tonight. You're going to be preparing to go on the Artemis 3 mission. That's the goal. So no showers or laundry. Like I'm saying, I think Dude Wipes should have sponsored this whole thing. Dude Wipes should be the #1 sponsor. Could you imagine on the rocket? It's like Dude Wipes. Because they literally can't take showers. They can't do laundry. They use wipes, dry shampoo, other basic cleaning items, radiation protection during the trip. They're practicing those shelter-in-place drills. And there's not too many places you can go. The place that they would typically go to would be moving behind water tanks and the heat shield in case of a solar storm. Imagine you're just kind of sitting around and you're like, there's a solar storm coming where particles can actually go through metal. So we need to get protection. We got to get behind certain things. So just wild to think about that. That's the radiation protection through the Van Allen radiation belt. You got to be prepared for anything. 15,100 miles per hour. Solar wings looks like they're about to deploy, and they're doing maneuvers. So up there, they're maneuvering this thing around, orienting it in certain directions to make sure they have the ability to not get the solar flares hitting them, all kinds of different reasons why they'd be doing that. If you guys haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. Let's get this to 1,000 likes. That'll help with the algorithm, and we'll get it up there in the algorithm a little bit faster there. Storm Chaser Mark threw in a super thanks. Thank you, my friend. That is very kind of you. Really appreciate that. Matt, the electrician, says a 10-day trip. Yeah, 10-day trip, no showers. There is one toilet that they had to install themselves. So that's a no-go item. Like, you don't want to have to return to Earth because the toilet wasn't installed properly. So yeah. Big day for humanity here. But again, the Dude Wipes are in full effect at this point. No showers, shelter-in-place drills in case of a solar storm. Max AB producer says she'll go if I go to the moon with her. I don't know. I don't know if she'd want to be trapped in a capsule with me for 10 days. I don't know. Max AB producer, be careful what you ask for. Other activities that they'll be doing there. Medical checks. So they obviously are monitored from Houston. They're monitoring. Oh, nice. We just hit 1,000 likes because you guys all smashed the like button. Thank you for doing that. Really appreciate that, everybody. Leona Haradi just threw in a $5 super thanks. Thank you, Leona. Thank you, Leona. Really appreciate that. That is so kind. Medical checks. So they're constantly being medically checked. Sarah just said she is not going to the moon alone. So let's do a poll here. Who would go to the moon with Sarah? That's what. Who would go to the moon? This is a full moon mission. Moon with Sarah. I'm going to put in here in parentheses. That's probably going to be a 20-day mission. 20-day mission. I don't know, Sarah. Good luck. We'll see if anybody wants you to go to the moon with them. Ann Kelly says, did you hear about the human alien breeding program made by Gates? Wild claims. I want to be a part of it. You know, if I can get a son who's an alien, if we can get a son or a daughter who's an alien and just have them around to use that big brain to solve all the math problems. I mean, they'd probably solve my Wi-Fi issues. The fact that we had the Wi-Fi company here telling us we have a gigabyte of streaming for up and download. We need that alien here to actually get the Wi-Fi company to figure things out. So yeah, I'm down. But no, Ann, I didn't hear about that, but I'll look into it. Max AB producer, let's look into that. Maybe we'll bring that up on the next live stream. What we might end up doing, yeah, Max AB producer said trying to get rid of me. Let's see. Who would go to the moon? So here we go. The poll has started. Who would go to the moon with Sarah? Likely a 20-day mission. So what do you guys think? Would you actually go to the moon with her? The solar array wings are opening up. That is just amazing. And let's see. The poll is being answered, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, that's funny. We've already got 70 votes. Looks like we got 60% saying they would, 30% saying no way. Very interesting there. So the solar array wings are all opened up. Very cool to see that happening. Again, you got to power this thing. So having some solar panels going to be very helpful there. So medical checks, one of the biggest things. You got to make sure everybody's staying in good health. That's huge. Zero gravity CPR practice. So there's zero gravity CPR, suit donning tests, science observations, photos, videos of the moon. So as they get close, I mean, imagine the high fidelity photos they can get, which will help with the actual landings that will happen, you know, when Artemis III actually launches. So that's going to be really cool. Video calls with ground teams, and then basically constantly monitoring systems, which is very interesting to me. The fact that they're going to sleep for about 8.5 hours at a time, and they're all sleeping around the same time. So all sleeping around the same time to me seems like a wild situation, because at the end of the day, how is the monitoring happening? Now, I'm sure there's a massive ability for these systems to wake whoever up they need to. Maybe it's like a shaking seat, vibrating seat to just make sure everybody's good to go. But again, monitoring the systems is going to be huge. And then entertainment and relaxation is a part of it as well. Looking out the windows is something that, you know, you do to pass the time as a commercial pilot, because as a commercial airline pilot, it can get a little bit boring, as you guys can probably imagine. Even if you're cross country in a fighter jet, it's still really cool because you're in a fighter jet, but you're just droning straight and level across the ground. So that can make it a little bit challenging to keep your mind engaged. And keeping your mind engaged, that's one of the biggest things. You got to make sure you stay engaged. And I did tell everyone in yesterday's live that I would do a 2-hour live stream. So I'm not sure if this one will be the 2-hour live stream. It might be. But I did, Max AB producer, just so you know, we did a super thanks challenge, and we got 20 super thanks with people wanting me to do a 2-hour live stream. So this one might go 2 hours. I'm not exactly sure yet. We will see. But I am really enjoying watching this happen. So it might go for 2 hours. Do you guys want this one to go for 2 hours? I have to do a 2-hour live stream in the next week. So this could be the 2-hour live stream. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. That's another 45 minutes. My voice is still holding up, so there's a chance we could just keep this thing going. So entertainment, relaxation, chatting, talking with each other, downtime between tasks. The crew has trained together extensively So teamwork is key in tight spaces like this, and having good human dynamics, having good crew resource management, making sure that everybody's not getting on each other's nerves. That's a big thing. The schedule is going to be packed with tests. Oh, there we go. There's the solar wings popping out. Nice. Let's pop to the audio of NASA and see what they're saying real quick. Solar wings, baby. Pop the top on this thing. Let's go. Nice.
You're getting a live look inside the Artemis II mission flight control room. The team you see here oversaw the ascent of our 4 astronauts inside Integrity, launching at 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Now, again, this room will be occupied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with flight controllers shifting on 3 shifts to oversee 24/7 operations of Artemis II while in flight. We will cover that live on the NASA YouTube.
Now, these people don't have to be in a spacesuit, and they have more than one bathroom, I hope. They're there 24/7, so hopefully they're not hooked up. Imagine they're just like hooked up to like little automatic bathrooms like the U-2. The U-2 spy plane, you actually hook up, if you know what I mean. You're in a spacesuit, and you hook up, and you can just use the bathroom. But I'm hoping everybody in this room right here actually, they don't have to be in the room 24/7. It's just monitored 24/7. Imagine they're like, yeah, not only are the astronauts going to have to be in a spacesuit, we're putting everybody in this room in a spacesuit as well, just because of teamwork, just teamwork. So ultimately, the schedule's got to stay packed. That's one of the main things. Keep the schedule packed. Remember, idle hands are the devil's playground. Also, idle hands become extremely boring. I'm going to keep talking. I'm sure these ladies have some amazing things to say, but I just want to keep going and talking. You guys let me know if you want to see the 2-hour stream. 2 hours might be a little bit much, but yeah, we'll see. Top Gun PR. Yeah, only one bathroom, my friend. Literally one bathroom. So yeah, that is going to be, you better stagger the morning coffees on this thing. All I got to say. When it comes to the journey, let's talk a little bit about what the journey is going to entail, just to walk you guys through something. So the giant SLS rocket, that blast off. So 8 minutes later, we saw the Orion separate and enter the Earth's orbit. The 4 big solar array wings, those unfold automatically within about 20 minutes. So we saw those happen. Those generate electricity from sunlight. The crew can then unstrap, and they change out of their launch suits into comfier clothes, because they're probably changing into something like a flight suit, like what she's wearing right now. You don't want to be sitting in a capsule in a suit for 10 days. Oh, looks like Sarah, looks like most people are saying they would go to the moon with you. We got 67% of people saying they'd go to the moon with Sarah, and then 33% said no way. That's good. That's pretty good odds. You can't be 100%. Can't be 100%. We'll go and end that poll. 67% of people saying they'd go to the moon with Sarah. So congratulations, Sarah. That is a big feat that many people want to go to the moon with you. Okay, how many people want to? Okay, Sarah got 67%. Let's do a little competition. How many people want to go to the moon with me, with Max? This one might get ugly. Would you go to the moon with Max? With Max. Yes, and absolutely not. We'll go yes and absolutely not. All right, Sarah, you got 67% said yes. Let's see what happens here. I feel like you're going to win. I feel like for some reason Sarah's going to get more votes than me, but this will be fun. We'll see. Sarah, which one of us wins? We'll do a little bet between ourselves, and then the one that wins the bet gets to get the spoils of the bet itself. So you can see them there. They are in their comfier looking clothes. That's pretty epic. There's the launch sequence actually happening right there. There it goes, blasting off. Austin says he doesn't know who Sarah is. He just wants to go to the moon. She's the moderator of the Max AB channel. She's kind of got her own little fan club of her own. But yeah, she is the producer and moderator of the channel. So they're doing a really cool recap of the launch itself. I got emotional, guys, during this moment right here, watching this happen, because this is just such a big moment for humanity. Yeah, I got very emotional, and I was proud to get emotional on that because it was just so much fun seeing that happen. And remember, sometimes, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry, especially tears of joy. That was just a cool moment. So the 4 big solar array wings, those have unfolded. They did that shortly after takeoff, and those generate the electricity from the sunlight. Sarah's getting close to winning. I mean, I'm at 69%, 31%. It's pretty close. I think Sarah ended with 67%. You guys, we got 30% of people saying absolutely not, and I totally respect your decisions. I don't know, imagine if you're in the module with me going to the moon, I'm going to be talking like this the entire time for 10 days. I'm going to be streaming like this for 10 days. Imagine someone just sitting there like, oh, wow, he's still going. We're on day 4 and Max Afterburner is literally still streaming. But I would probably do that. I would literally be streaming. I would just be like, guys, check this out. And then check this out. Look at this. Oh, and everyone's like, oh, wow. Like, can we please, is there an eject button on this thing? Can we eject him out of the capsule? I'm at 68%. I think Sarah ended with 67%. So we're pretty close. Maybe Sarah and I will be going to the moon together. Everyone's saying no. Come on. You can't stack the deck like that. Yeah, I'd be up there just commenting the entire time. I'd be like, so here we are today. Here's another view of the moon. And then here's another view of the moon. And then here's me in my spacesuit. Yeah, that might get a little wild for everybody. But hey, I wouldn't be afraid. So when it comes to the full journey, we talked about some of that initial part. So here's kind of what happens. So you generate electricity from the sunlight. The crew unstraps. They change out of their launch suits into comfy clothes. We just saw it kind of look like what looked like to me was NASCAR pit crew clothes, actually, which was really interesting to see. The crew unstraps, they change out, and they start setting up the toilets. That's a big thing. Can we please make sure the toilet gets set up? Very important there. And then they start doing other things. The water dispenser has to be set up, other basics. They begin testing life support equipment. Life is busy and exciting here. The first meals, the short split periods, the sleep periods are happening today. So they're getting a 4-hour sleep period and then another 4 hours. Oh, look, see, NASA's buffering right now. That's not me. It's actually NASA. So see, it's not just the Max Afterburner channel that buffers. We've also got NASA buffering as well. Pretty wild to see that happen. Orbit raising burns is what this is called. So first meals and short sleep periods because of orbit raising burns. And those are when the different systems will do what's called a burn. A burn is like a firing of the rockets. Looks like I'm at 69%. Sarah, you better, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I think Sarah ended with 67%. So I'm beating her by 2% of people. Not exactly a large margin there. So those burn raising periods, that's when the crew has to be up, they have to be monitoring, and they have to be willing to miss out on some of that sleep to make sure that the burns of the engines are going properly. Nice. We got a view of the actual cockpit itself. I mean, I guess they kind of have an excuse for why they're buffering. They're buffering because they are, thousands of miles away at this point. Let's see. Yeah, here we are. So a little bit of buffering. This is the live control room view. I'll go to the end here. Let's hope that we can, 1.4 million views live, it looks like. Yeah, NASA's having some technical issues, but we're good. We'll let NASA work on that while we're covering a few more things here. So when it comes to what the crew's actually doing, so we talked about what they're going to do. The Earth orbit checkouts. The crew practices flying Orion manually near the empty upper stage as a test target, and they do systems checks there. So the big things are system checks. Well, I wonder if NASA actually ended the live stream there. They might have actually ended it. Let's see if we can get any audio coming from them right now. There we go. The live control room. Okay, cool. So we can actually see the live control room. I'll keep the audio on to see if anything's happening from their end. But if they start talking, I'll stop talking. So more system checks are going to happen. That's kind of the big thing here. And life is like this. They reorganize the cabin.
All right, this is Mission Control Houston. Welcome back for our 24/7 coverage of the Artemis II mission.
24/7 coverage. See, they're challenging us.
At this time, we are a little more than 1 minute from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. At this time, the Orion spacecraft integrity has been maneuvered into the burn attitude, is pointed in the right direction, and the solar arrays are in the position to take on the loads imparted by the 26-second burn.
Nice. Okay. All these different maneuvers, all these different burns. Yeah, just making it happen. All right, looks like 70% of you are going to the moon with me. We're going to need a big spaceship. Max AB producer, I think I beat you by like 2%. So, hey, yeah. But don't worry, you'll still get the super thanks. If anybody throws in a super thanks, that'll go directly to Max AB producer. And hopefully that goes towards getting her on the moon. We got to get her on the moon. 70% of you are going to the moon with me, and you're going to hear me talking like this for 10 days. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck to you. Good luck and Godspeed. We're all counting on you. So they reorganize the cabin. They eat. They exercise for the first time, make sure all those different systems are working, and they get used to floating. They're going to be floating for 10 days. So they're getting used to floating. That's the big thing there. Orion's main engine fires send them towards the moon at a free return path. Gravity will naturally bring them home, even if the engines later fail. Isn't that insane? So that's going to be day 2. That's called the translunar injection burn. The translunar injection burn is what's going to happen to put them in a position where they can do the free return path. So doing the free return path with gravity naturally bringing them home, even if the engine later fails. Life includes meals, workouts, final Earth orbit tasks before the long cruise. And the long cruise is going to last a long time. The crew feels acceleration during the different burns. So that's kind of interesting to think about, right? They're actually feeling some of the acceleration during the burn times, which was a question that I had when it came to actually the option and opportunity to not be feeling that outside of the Earth's gravity. But apparently you can still feel it, which is just wild. Very insane there. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to understanding that you can feel that acceleration even when you're not in the Earth's gravity, which is learning for me. About 4 days of coasting. That's the outbound journey to the moon, days 2 through 6. All right, days 2 through 6 is where you're kind of just coasting and you're just hanging out. That's kind of the overall sensation there. So you're coasting, you're hanging out, you're enjoying it. And looks like there are some technical issues here with the stream itself, but I will leave it up. Looks like it's right now just showing the actual, yeah, let's see what NASA has going on. There we go. So NASA is buffering. There's no excuse, NASA. Even though you're flying at 18,000 miles per hour, you should still be able to stream this, right? Should have gotten Starlink. But now they're past all the Starlink satellites. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But yeah, so we'll go back to some of the burn. Mission. Just watching that, 16,000 miles per hour. So 4 days of coasting, which is just insane. So when you think of 4 days of coasting, what's going on during that time? Looks like, hey, Max AB producer, we got someone that you got to zap out of the chat there. Here, I think I can actually do it too. All right, cool. Let's put him in timeout for, boom, I got him. Big Barry. Big Barry just got timed out. Nice try. Nice try spamming the chat, my friend. But we've got Max AB producers on it, and then I'm on it as well. Keeping track of everybody. If you guys have any questions, you can throw them in a super thanks. And then if you want to join the channel, become a member, that'd be awesome as well. I do priority replies to the members. Private Count says, you freed Barry. Yeah, free Barry. Free Barry. Barry, you just got freed, my friend. That's what happens when you try to spam the chat. But for the burn phase, days 2 through roughly day 6, that's 4 days of coasting, just full on coasting. Right now we can see 16,000 miles per hour. What's the best evidence we had a man on the moon? Well, Grant Wendling, that's a really good point. Let's see if we can find any information for the best evidence of a man on the moon. I think a lot of it comes down to, oh, that's not what we're trying to get. Let's see. Let's do man on the moon. Let's see what we can find. Evidence we went to the moon. I think that's something good for us to cover right now. Let's see what we got. Kid gives a blunt answer after reporters asked him why he was excited about the Artemis II launch.
Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the frickin' moon, that's why.
Yes.
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
That's awesome. So sorry that just came out, but this kid is my spirit animal. I love how the anchor here was just completely blown away. The anchor is like, oh no. So yeah, I would say I don't have a lot of evidence, but I am just excited that we're going back to the moon. So how about that? I'm sure this was live and CNN couldn't really do much about it, but that is hilarious. That makes me so happy that kid was able to get that in there. That just makes me excited. But yeah, evidence that we went to the moon, you know, people have said that the footage was filmed in a warehouse. And I guess what I could see happening is backing up the footage, because at the time, think of those cameras. Think of how those cameras, no one knew how they were going to work in space. And if you don't have proof that you went to the moon, if the cameras fail and you don't have any backup, now you're not showing the Soviet Union that you're actually going to space, and that shows weakness. So I fully believe we went to the moon, yes. Was there a backup created of actual footage that was created somewhere else? Plausible. I'll say that that's plausible. That's all I'll say. So let's see if we can, let's go back to NASA, see if they've got anything else coming on. Wow. What a cool situation here. Artemis II with NASA. Amazing. Just seeing that all happening. This is the live event. They might have stopped the live event. We'll see. But we'll be there. We'll be here watching this because I just think it's so cool seeing this live event happen. That kid is my spirit animal, though. That kid is awesome. And that's the excitement and passion that we should all have for this. I love that he's like, hey, news anchor, what do you think? What do you think? Let's see. Joey Stevens said, so the Earth is flat. I can confirm it is actually curved, my friend, having seen it from, let's just say 52,000 feet is about as high up as I went. So where were we? So there we go. We see that live NASA control room. 4 days of coasting. The crew performs small course corrections, medical tests, emergency drills, and radiation shelter practice. They monitor health and spacecraft systems. Life, it's routine. Routine life sets in because at a certain point, all you have is each other, right? All you have is each other at a certain point. Let's go ahead and do let's see, we'll start another goal. Let's see, 10 more super chats of sending Sarah to the moon. Get Sarah a spacesuit. That's what this one will be for. Get Sarah a spacesuit for the moon. All right, cool. We just started another goal. It's 10 super thanks. If you guys want to throw that in, that'd be awesome. Yeah, for sure. So very interesting when you think about the 4 days of coasting, because it's all sexy and beautiful when you're blasting off and launching. But when you get into 4 days of coasting, like now you really got to understand that this is where the metal meets the road. Is that an acronym? This is where the rocket booster meets space. That's a better one. Yeah. Metal doesn't really meet the road. No people want to go with me to the moon. What? Maxi B producer said no one wants to go with me to the moon. That's not true. I think like 69% of you wanted to go. And I'm not just saying that number because I have a 15-year-old mind. I'm saying that because I literally think it was 69%. Again, never be too careful these days. Check LRO pictures of Apollo landing sites. Well, yeah. Okay, let's see if we can do that. We'll check some Apollo landing sites. Let's see here. Pictures of landing sites. No people want to go with you to the moon and not me. Okay. Pictures of Apollo landing sites. Sorry, I sometimes get a text from the Max AB producer up there of Apollo landing sites. Let's see what we got. Nice. This is Launch Pad 39B. So it's in Florida. This is kind of cool. So this is showing us Launch Pad 39B, which is awesome. I actually have done a Noble Eagle mission over this area, Cape Canaveral, where I flew in an F-15E protecting SpaceX rocket launches. Some of the coolest missions ever. We were loaded down with AMRAAMs. We were loaded down with AIM-9Xs. And we protected the launch of SpaceX rockets. So very cool seeing that this is now happening. I just think this area is awesome. But it brings me back to my days of flying missions where there'll be fighter jets around this entire area. There's fighter jets around there right now protecting the whole place. So very cool to see this happening. This is the launch pad itself. That's 39B, the complex. I just love, I feel like my channel is going to be doing a lot more space stuff, which I'm very excited about. Very excited about. Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Yeah, flying missions around this and then watching the SpaceX launch from an F-15 cockpit. That was probably one of the coolest moments. I mean, you guys saw how I got emotional watching this launch. Imagine being up in an F-15E and watching that happen as well. You can be emotional and dialed in and locked in at the same time. It was just a time of pride seeing that happen for sure. So there you go. That's the actual launch itself there. Yep, we saw that. We saw the actual launch itself. Very cool. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Esteban Navarro Serrano says, current photos, NASA's LRO probe and probes from India, Japan, and China photographed the 6 landing sites, modules, footprints, and flags can be seen, available at nasa.gov. Challenger descent stage, Geophone Rock, Poppy Crater, LRV, SEP. Okay. Wow, that's a really cool picture. Launchpad 39. That is an awesome photo right there. Wow. That is so cool. Yep, that's Artemis II astronauts on their way to Launchpad 39B. Same launch pad that sent Apollo 10 into space. Yeah, very cool. Wow, there was like okay, we got a helicopter up overhead. There's going to be fighter jets overhead protecting the airspace as well. Let's see. I'm not seeing a lot of images here, but this guy's talking about discrepancies to doubt the moon landing. I think that that's a stretch. There we go. Photo from onboard an airplane shows the contrail after NASA's Artemis II mission. Wow, that's super cool. Let's see if we can, there we go. Okay. The large impact basin pictured above is crater 308. It spans 30 kilometers and was photographed by the crew of Apollo 11 as they circled the moon. Can you imagine? That's just so freaking cool. Just imagine being up there watching that take place. I mean, you're going to feel really small. Can you imagine how small you feel just watching the Earth? I mean, from that high up, incredible. All right, let's see some more of these images. Apollo landing sites. Yeah, so this is where I talked about when they're coming in. Neil Armstrong changes the landing site to something that was better last second with 6 seconds left of boost, so they could actually get off of the surface of the Earth. So we'll watch through these. It's about 2 minutes long. Let me make sure you guys have a good view of this on the stream. There we go. It's up a little bit so you can see it. We'll check these right now. Pictures of the Apollo landing sites. And then Private says, thank you for what you do. That's really kind. Thank you so much. Second generation paratrooper, and I love your content. I hope this helps you in your endeavors. And thank you for being the pilot of my favorite and most gangster aircraft in history. Aaron Scott, thank you so much for that. Thanks for being a paratrooper, man. Some of your brethren, 82nd Airborne, are in the Middle East right now. We'll see what happens. I'll likely be covering a lot of what's going on with them in tomorrow's video. But again, we'll do a live stream tomorrow on the Iran conflict. So come in and tune in for that. But thank you so much for that super thanks. All of you that are giving these super thanks, this is your hard-earned money, and I really appreciate it. I'm serious from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, because I know this is your hard-earned money, and this isn't just willy-nilly. Okay, we're just going to crack open our wallets to anyone. You guys actually really care about being here and being a part of this and supporting Sarah and I. That really means a lot. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is your hard-earned money. Even you just being here, your hard-earned time and your attention, and then you go above and beyond, and you give us, you become members of the channel, and you give super thanks. I mean, this is just next level that I really appreciate. Annika says she has difficulties keeping her body upright. You have been allowed to be in a simulator to become weightless. They say it is awesome to not feel gravity. Yeah, that'd be amazing if you could have some sort of a simulator like that to not feel gravity. That would be incredible. Absolutely. Is it possible to travel at 15,000 miles an hour here on Earth? Woo, I don't know. That's a great question, because remember, on Earth, you're dealing with basically the inability to go as fast as in space, because you have air density holding you back. And that's going to make it a lot harder for you to go that fast. Aaron Scott, thank you for your service. That's what Leona Haradi said. You're spot on, Leona. Thank you for being a patriot and for supporting our military. I love supporting the warriors and what they've done for this country. It's awesome to see. And I love seeing other people do it as well. That's great. Top Gun PR says, Iran getting fun now too with you know what. Yeah, a lot going on. But Top Gun PR, let me know what you think is most interesting about Iran right now. I did the video this morning about the special ops potential, the special ops people going in there, making it rain potentially here soon. We don't know if that'll happen, but we'll get to that here in a second. I want to review these latest pictures of the Apollo landing sites. So let's
Station at about 60 feet. Over. Have you got us a good area picked out? Yeah, I think right out on that rise out there, it's probably as good as any. I got the record.
Isn't that so cool? He's like, yeah, looking out. He's looking through a little window by his knee, and he's like, yeah, out there on that little rise looks about as good as any. I mean, just cool as a cucumber. It's hard to hear what they're talking about, what they're saying, but I want to listen to their audio to see if we can pick up a few things just in the tonality of their voices while we watch this landing site.
Record of core tube depth, and you've probably got the record for flinging pieces of alpha across the lunar landscape.
And would you believe I got the use of the big scoop?
Leading up to Gulf Crater. It's over a mile or a mile and a half away. I'll do a quick zoom in on it. And then it's going closer to the sun right now. Okay, you're looking at sky again.
Wow. Just look at that. That is so cool. I mean, the angle that's kind of sitting at a little bit of an angle, the way you got to bring that thing down, and it's kind of like he chose a perfect landing site. And the rumor I heard was this was all manual. In game, he takes over manually. Again, as an astronaut, any aviator, you got to be so dialed in and so ready to go to just choose a site that's going to be, you're going to be able to launch back off from. Because if for some reason this thing came down and let's say one of the legs snapped and it was on its edge, it was on an angle, you can't get off. Yet you cannot get off the moon. So again, just the cojones on these guys to make this happen, come in and do the landing, and then to find a spot like this, because even if you were up here in some area like this, and there was a dip and one of the legs didn't contact correctly, you could be in a world of hurt and, you know, not really have any ability to do anything about it. So I'm looking at this module itself. I see like a little United States kind of emblem right there. You obviously have the flag right here. The sun is back this way. Well, actually, that's not the sun. That's a light on the actual module itself. And I think that light is casting the shadow. I could be wrong, but it looks like that light is casting the shadow. I see a shadow coming off of the pole itself here. Yeah, it does look like, and it could be, I mean, I don't know where the exact light source is. Like, I think a lot of this is coming from an actual flash on the camera, and there's a light on top of the actual lunar module itself. So the lighting and the angles is going to be weird. Depending on the angle of where that light's from, that could change. Like, you could see this is this angle here. I wonder if I can get rid of, I can't get rid of this little bar right here, but if you look at this angle of this light right here, the shadow looks relatively similar to the shadow coming off of this. And then for the flag here, it's going to be at a different angle to that light. So this shadow isn't going to be the same exact direction. And people have said, well, the shadow's at a different angle. Well, this is the light source that's causing the shadow. So if you wanted this to be at the same angle, you would need this light source here as well, right here, to then shine, and then it would have an angle that would be exactly the same. So that's one thing I kind of want to bust the myth on that. And when it comes to shadows and lighting, the reason why I'm so anal about it, why I'm so particular, is because for a year and a half on the Thunderbirds, I was the photo officer. So I was in charge of setting up all the different photographic photo missions where we would fly over places like the Grand Canyon. We would fly over Horseshoe Bend, a lot of these different spots where at the end of the day, you had to have the lighting completely dialed in and perfect. And if you didn't, you're going to waste 6 jets, actually 7, because of the chase aircraft being up there and being airborne. So I like this photo. To me, the light sources make sense because of, you know, what I'm talking about with the light source being here. It's going to shine these back this way, and it's going to shine this light source that way. So that's kind of the big thing that I see there. All right, I'll keep going with this. Looks like we're going to go to 2 hours today, guys. If you want me to keep going and go to 2 hours, let me know. Someone's saying that the Earth is square. Well, not exactly, but...
And Jim, how are you doing?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Just about finished, Joe. Okay, Jimmy, sounds good. We want you to deploy the flag after you finish the photography, and we're wondering at the moment where the 2 empty core tubes are, if they're still in bag 5.
Wow, what a beautiful image. I mean, just how fragile this thing looks. When you think about the capability of it, I mean, being that fragile is insane. And this is what we're going to have in 2028, but a much more adapted version. Many more adaptions, likely much more margins for error on the one that we'll see on Artemis III.
We'll want you to carry them in your hand out towards the outset. The best man.
Wow. So cool. Okay, so I'm not sure what that is right there. People have complained about the flag, the angle of it, and saying that there's like wind blowing through it. I mean, it could just be the fabric itself too. But the shadow looks about right if the light source is coming from the left side. And then these shadows are coming from the right. So I'm not sure what's going on with the light sources over here. Man, how cool it would have been to be a part of an Apollo mission. I mean, God, that's just such a cool, I mean, yeah, I would love to be a part of the Apollo missions or the Artemis missions. This is just next level. Beautiful. Wow. Look at that. I mean, you got an astronaut over here. Just so cool. Oh, I want one of these little rovers. Anybody else want a lunar rover? That sounds fun to me. Apollo, the panoramas. Wow, that is so cool. National Geographic, yep. Artemis II lifts off successfully and launches humanity into a new race to the moon, baby. So cool. I mean, it's going to happen a lot. I mean, 2028 is not that far away. Let's go back to NASA. I think they're doing a 24/7 live stream for 10 days. I mean, they should definitely do that. Yep. For the first time in over 50 years, humans are moonbound. NASA's Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft lifted off from the agency's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, sending 4 astronauts on a planned test flight around the moon. It's no big. It's just a test flight around the moon. It's just a test flight. This is so incredible. I can't wait to see the pictures that come out of this. If you guys want to see a lot of live streams on the actual Artemis mission itself, let me know in the comments below. I might start doing more live streams on Artemis itself. So let's see what the live event has going on. It's already got 3 million views. Okay, I think it ended at 6:25. So they kept the live stream going for a while. And looks like NASA is buffering. It's okay, NASA. The Max Afterburner channel has buffered once or twice before too. So we got 8 minutes left in the stream, guys. We're going to take it all the way to 2 hours, and hopefully that NASA video starts playing here soon. But as you can imagine, day 2 through 6, everything kind of starts to set in. You're on basically on a trajectory where you're there. Like there's no changing. Like there's no, changing from what's actually happening. You can't exactly step off of the spacecraft itself.
In the positive column.
There we go.
Just for a moment that people will pause and say, wow.
Just so cool seeing that take place. But day 6, so the lunar flyby will happen on day 6. I'll definitely plan on a stream from then. Sarah, Max AB producer Sarah, if you can make sure we have noted on our calendar day 6 of when likely the lunar flyby will happen, we'll cover that on the channel as well, which would be super cool to cover that. And then day 6, imagine the photos and the imagery that's going to come out of that. That's going to be just wild. So Orion will swing around the moon's far side, passing about 4,700 miles beyond the moon, further away from Earth than any humans since Apollo. Wow. So 4,700 miles past the moon, 7,600 kilometers beyond it. Just insane. Farther from the Earth than any humans since Apollo. They spend a few hours near the moon. They'll be taking photos, videos, and making observations. The high point of the mission, right? So this is where things get exciting. Oh, we're here. We're at the moon. That's kind of like what they, focused on doing. That's the whole reason why they did what they do, was to go and pass the moon. So once you get past it, now you got to come back. Right? It's not just like, okay, we're at the moon. It's like you climb to the top of Everest. Now you got to walk down. So ultimately, you're at the top of Everest. Congratulations. You're only halfway there. So going past the moon, congratulations. You're at the moon, but you're really only halfway there. And you're further from Earth than any humans since the Apollo missions. The exciting views, focused science work, seeing where you actually might land, where you might actually be able to set down Artemis III when you actually make it back to the moon in 2028. So they'll spend those hours there doing their observations, sharing those moments. Likely that live stream is going to be just insane. So I'll be live streaming for that as well. So you guys pop back if you would like. But ultimately, now you got to see, I'm really curious to see what the moon will look like from their perspective. So the high point of the mission, exciting views, focused work, and shared moments will be huge for humanity, seeing that take place. That's just going to be so cool seeing that take place. And then you got to think, what's the moon going to look like? What size will the moon look like? How big is the actual moon going to be in perspective for them, for the actual astronauts themselves? And then return journey, day 6, roughly day 6 through 9. And I didn't do the 6 through 9 on purpose. That's literally what I've researched and found. Gravity will sling them back towards Earth. 4,700 miles past, gravity slings them back towards Earth. And now you got to focus on getting home. So more system tests will be happening then. Health data collection and prep for reentry will be happening then. Prep for reentry is going to be huge. So the reentry system and sequences that will go down there are going to be massive. So you got to make sure the reentry system is good to go, because again, it's not just Artemis II that's riding on this. It's Artemis III, the different adaptations that will happen to make Artemis III even safer, to help them carry even more equipment, more sophisticated type technology with them. All those things are going to be huge. Yeah, very safe travels to the brave astronauts. Absolutely. Well said. So they'll be eating, sleeping, exercising, wrapping up their different experiments, and the crew reflects on the experience as Earth grows bigger and bigger. So you get to see the moon get big, you get to see all that, and then the nice payoff is seeing Earth get bigger, knowing that you're coming home. I mean, talk about a wild experience here. Just making you feel small as a human. And I'm sure being up there, you realize we're all kind of in this together, right? Like humanity's kind of in this together. We're all on Earth. So I can imagine, I can't wait to hear the reflections from the astronauts as they tell us kind of what it felt like. Re-entry and splashdown. This will happen on day 10. So Max AB producer, Sarah, if you can also make sure that we do a live stream on day 10. So maybe, so keep track of when they'll actually come close to the moon. We'll do a live stream then to talk about that and kind of do some updates and reviews. And then we'll also do a live stream on day 10, the splashdown as well. Thank you so much, Max AB. Sarah, you're a rock star. Orion's going to hit the Earth's atmosphere at approximately 25,000 miles per hour. The heat shield will glow white hot at over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They'll use what's called a skip technique to slow down safely. Basically, skipping off the atmosphere is going to help them slow down safely. Again, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around how big of brains these people have that have figured this out. I'm just so grateful for them. Parachutes will deploy in stages after they are slow enough for the parachutes to actually work. So the parachutes will deploy. Orion splashes down gently in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego. Navy ships will recover the crew and the capsule. Life in this stage is going to be tense, but it's a brief final stage. It's going to happen relatively quickly. All of that happening on day 10. The crew stays completely strapped in during the fiery, bumpy ride home, making sure the heat shield maintains its structure and integrity is the name of the game here. This mission is a big test, guys. Can Orion keep people safe and healthy in deep space? The astronauts' experiences, what are those going to be like? The cramped living, the radiation protection. This will shape future moon landings on Artemis III and beyond, setting up humanity for a base on the moon that will then create a potential shot to go to Mars, which is huge. The whole trip is designed with safety in mind. Lots of chances to return early if they had to. Hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully they make it around the moon and get to come back. This is a mix of hard work, amazing views, and proving basically that humans can live and work far from Earth and are set up to establish that moon base. That is just massive there. If you guys want to see more, let me know. Let me know what you actually want to see on the Artemis missions itself, or anything else you want to see from the different stream into things. Max AB producer is here doing it right. We almost got the next Super Thanks goal. It was very close. We got 7 of 10, but we did get a lot today, and that's hopefully going to get Sarah going towards the moon. I'll throw my name. I'll throw it out there. I'll throw it out there, Sarah. I think you do great going to the moon. And it looks like about 70% of people want to go with us. So that's great. But no, guys, seriously, this was a massive step for humanity to see this happen. I'm just proud to be a part of it. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. I will be doing a video tomorrow, likely on the Iran conflict, so go ahead and tune in for that. This is the sweet stuff. To me, this is humanity coming together, establishing this amazing mission and showing that nothing is impossible. So I'm very proud to be a part of this with you guys. I was able to get to the 2-hour mark on the live stream. Hope you all enjoyed it very much. Special thanks to Max AB producer for being here for us all. That is great. Miranda writes, just doing a super chat. Thank you, Miranda writes. Annika, thank you very much. Really glad to have you here. Aeon, the original, BH, Mark, DD, Evam, Aeon. So good to see you guys. I'm just going to go to the part here in the stream where the actual rockets fire. Let's watch them fire before I end the stream. So that's something I would love to see. Yeah, just to cap off the stream with that one more time. Because why not? There it goes. 2 minutes till launch, 40 seconds. 1 minute. There we go. So we'll just watch this launch take place because why not? Well, unless it's buffering, then we might not be able to. There we go. Okay, cool. 30-second countdown. We'll watch those initial stages kick off because it's just such a cool moment. So and then I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Really appreciate having you guys here. Again, we got Aeon, the original, Mark, Devon. We'll be doing a live stream again on when they come close to the moon itself on day 6, and then the slingshot back. As it slingshots back, we'll be watching that as well, which is just awesome. So there it goes. There's the engines firing. Wow, look at those. You can see the side boosters. You got the 4 main engines as well. Wow, just such a cool moment to see that happen. Incredible. Successful launch of Artemis II. Crew is on their way to the moon to do a moon slingshot. How cool is that? We're literally doing a moon slingshot. That's just one of the coolest things ever. I could just watch that over and over again. Mark Mangano says, I watch anything Max AB. Thank you, my friend. That means a lot. Sarah and I do our best to bring you guys the best, most latest and breaking info that uses critical thinking skills, right? Because we're trying to get everybody on here to just use your God-given intelligence to understand what's being said to you and hopefully interpret it in a little bit better of a way. Because who knows these days? There's a lot of things being thrown at us, a lot of information being thrown at us. We don't know if we can trust it. So we just do our best to try to curate the truth, the best we can. We're human. It's not always going to be perfect. But so proud of these astronauts, so proud of the United States. The U.S. is back, baby. We're headed towards the moon, slingshotting around the moon, setting up for Artemis III. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Once again, Annika, Bihau, Devon, Miranda writes, Aeon, Devon, James, Max AB producer, Sarah. You're doing great things as the moderator, and we're all grateful for you. Thanks, everybody. Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, giving a big shout out to this launch and watching this rocket. I can't help but get emotional. It's just a beautiful moment. This is me signing off. We'll see you guys on the next one.